Freddie Gray, while in police custody, managed to die after purposely trying to hurt himself inside the police van, according to USA Today. After Gray was arrested, he was never given any medical attention and sparked the riot to form, causing the response time to be slow because the riot was started by some teenagers, as USA Today and CNN reports. Which then leads to, "The riot is coming, the riot is coming," being shouted by Paul Revere himself. Then to have a boy come up to the officers and ask, "What can I get for you?" And the officer responded with, "Well, I know Jim and Frank want some hot peppers with buckets of water, and I'll just take an iced tea." After Frank and Jim had their hot peppers and managed to cool off with the water buckets, they still had the rioters to deal with. They got ready for the riots, and as well they read some of the signs that say police brutality must end, as well as "we want justice." It then led to a citywide curfew reported by US Today and ABC News, because the officers trying to maintain control had to duck, dodge, and dive to avoid being hit by anything that wasn't bolted down, because in a riot, anything can and will be thrown at you like dodgeball. Which then leads to the riot in Baltimore. Also reminds them of the Ferguson case, which added more fuel to fire, as the Ferguson case was mentioned many times, as well as the NYPD case. Needless to say, you didn't want to be anywhere near the riot, as you can become desensitized. Finally, towards the end of the riot, Good Samaritan stepped in and formed a line in an attempt to keep rowdy protesters away. That way, all the stuff that the protesters were throwing wouldn't hit the officers. And it just so happened that Jill and Tom happened to be in line when Tom said, "Dang, Jill, I sure wish I was out traveling with my igloo cooler as my baggage. Heck, I might have caught a big one by now." Because needless to say, if you wanted to get around there, yeah, you really couldn't. And at least during this whole riot, there was only 10 arrests made, which were for curfew violations. And Donald Trump had a few choice words for President Obama. And needless to say, Trump told CNN that Obama has a big job to do. There was also the word thug being thrown on the street, which pretty much offended the higher adults, as well as some teens, because they were pretty much being called that certain N-word you're not supposed to use. Gray's family didn't really want the city to get torn up the way it did. They wanted it to go down peaceful, not for all the violence that went down, having the 20 cops get injured. They didn't really want that to happen. And a report from NBC News also shows that Freddie Gray death wasn't really a main focus of anger and frustration. It was also because of Baltimore also sprang in economic declines for a while, and it pretty much sparked an opportunity for those who were in pretty hardships. So, needless to say, their economy really hasn't been really successful as it should, and they can't really do nothing for those left behind. It helped process the story because it basically took a past events like the Ferguson and the NYPD police brutality case, and it brought this one in with that background, and so it made the case a little bit more easier to understand, as well as some elements and consistency with the articles that you find regarding curfew and what objects were being thrown and who was doing what, basically off of that.